Have you ever stopped to think about how incredibly complex your own body is? It's amazing. Today, we're going to do something really cool. We're going to build the exact map that doctors and scientists use to navigate it all. A map of you.
So, where do you even begin? I mean, how do you map something with literally trillions of moving parts? It sounds almost impossible, right? Well, like any great expedition, it all starts with learning the language of the land.
And the language for our map has a name: anatomy. This is our map's legend, our key. It's the official science that lets us name and understand every single part of ourselves, from the biggest organ all the way down to the tiniest cell. Now, just like Google Maps, our body map has different zoom levels. First, you've got the street view, which we call gross anatomy. This is all the stuff you can see with just your eyes, like your bones, muscles, and organs. But if you zoom way, way in, you get to microscopic anatomy. That's where you need a microscope to see the tissues and cells that actually build all those larger parts. Okay, let's get our hands dirty and start drawing this map. The very first thing any cartographer does is outline the major landmasses. So let's do the same for the human body and map out its main continents. Our first and biggest continent is called the axial region. You can think of this as the body's mainland. It's the central pillar, your head, your neck, and your trunk. It's the core that pretty much everything else connects to. And branching off from that mainland, we have the appendicular region. If the axial part is the mainland, then these are the islands on our map. We're talking about your arms and legs, the appendages that let us move around and interact with everything. And just to break that down real quick, the upper limb is the whole package: arm, forearm, wrist, hand, and fingers. The lower limb is the thigh, leg, ankle, foot, and toes. Simple enough, yeah? These are the parts that really get us going.
Okay, we've got our continents, but that's not specific enough, is it? To really pinpoint a location, every map needs a grid system, lines of longitude and latitude. In anatomy, we call these grid lines planes. And here's what that grid looks like. We have 3 main anatomical planes. Now, of course, these aren't real cuts. They're just imaginary flat surfaces we use to slice through the body, helping us describe any location with total precision. First up is the coronal plane. Imagine a vertical slice that separates your body into a front half and a back half. This gives us what we call an anterior view, which is the front, and a posterior view, which is the back. Next, we have the sagittal plane. This is also a vertical slice, but this one divides the body into left and right sides. If you make that cut perfectly down the middle, creating 2 mirror images, that's called a mid-sagittal plane. And finally, there's the transverse plane. This one's horizontal. It slices the body into an upper or superior section and a lower or inferior section. If you've ever seen a CT scan, you're basically looking at a series of transverse planes stacked together. It gives you a great cross-section view. So, we have our map and our grid. What's left? We need a compass. We need our north, south, east, and west to give directions. So let's learn the key directional terms in anatomy. Let's start with our version of north and south. In anatomy, superior means toward the head and inferior means toward the feet. So your face is superior to your neck, and your navel is inferior to your chin. Easy, right? How about front and back? Well, anterior means toward the front of the body, and posterior means toward the back. For instance, your sternum, your breastbone, is anterior to your heart. Now, what if we're moving from the center outwards? Medial means it's nearer to the body's midline. Lateral means it's farther away from that center line. A great example is your nose is medial to your ears. Our limbs get their own special set of directions. Proximal means closer to the point where the limb attaches to the body, and distal means farther away from that point. So your elbow is proximal to your wrist, but your fingers are distal to your wrist. And finally, let's talk depth. This one is super intuitive. Superficial means it's near the surface, like your skin. Deep means it's further inside the body, so your bones are deep to your muscles. So when you put all of these terms together, superior, inferior, anterior, posterior, the whole lot, you get a complete GPS for the human body. This system makes it possible for anyone, anywhere in the world, to describe the location of any part of the body with absolute precision. So we've built our map, we've drawn our grid, and we've got our compass. But so what? Why does any of this actually matter in the real world?
It's not just for memorizing in a classroom.
This is the most important part. This anatomical map is a universal language. It means a doctor in one country can talk to a surgeon in another country, and they both know exactly what they're talking about. When the stakes are high, there can be zero misunderstandings. And I mean, think about that. From just a routine checkup all the way to a complex, life-saving surgery, this precise language makes sure everyone is on the same page. It literally eliminates guesswork and saves lives. It is that critical. And now, you've got the basic tools to start reading this incredible map yourself. You've got the language, the grid, and the compass. So the only question left is, what part of you are you going to explore first?